Hey everyone, it's me again. I hope you're doing well. Um, Today I wanted to talk about um basically what the title says, the real root of all evil. Um, Typically you hear that phrase, money is the root of all evil, and I think that's true, and I think it has to do with another thing that Nietzsche says in his work on the genealogy of morals, in which he traces and this is in the second essay, I believe, just so you guys know, um, he traces the origin of this sort of tit for tat or um punishment and reward sense of justice to the creditor and debtor relationships in trade. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with money, right? Like um it can be like a barter, right? Where you just give something for another thing, right? Like, say, you know, um two pairs of shoes for two bundles of wheat, and you come to expect a somewhat equal rate of exchange. And Nietzsche says, oh well, people started taking this, or assuming that this should be the case in all sorts of other things, in the the penal codes, the punishment for crimes and stuff like that. Um and yeah, I agree, but I want to expand on that a little bit and say that this shows this shows that it's not so much that money is the root of all evil in itself. It's the expectations of reciprocity that it enjoins. That expectation that the debt would be paid back. And now the person giving the money is the creditor, and the person receiving it is now the debtor. And so that expectation is really um why money is so evil. Um and it says it right on the tin, at least on the US dollar. There's a notice that says, this is legal tender for all debts, private and public, um in the United States. And yeah, but another thing too, right? Um and this is sort of the reason Aristotle even says it, like, once you start abstracting um the sorts of things that people do and the sorts of things that people exchange, it's good to have a sort of universal measure by which you can um trade a partial thing or an abstract thing for another partial thing or a whole thing or an abstract thing, right? Um so, like, for example, going back with our to our shoes and wheat example, right? Well, what if you only wanted to get work on one part of the shoe done or get it repaired? Like you can't have like half a bundle. Who decides how many stalks of weed are in a bundle, right? And so you start running into these problems of proportion and exchange, in which, humans were kind of like, well, okay, what if we agree to a medium um that we consider to be valuable, that can act as a sort of an intermediary when we can't exactly get the proportion of things which we exchange for our goods or services particularly, right? Like, I mean, once you get to a certain point in especially agricultural development, you start getting things like writers and artists, and you know, how would you begin to exchange actual usable capital like wheat, like horseshoes and stuff? How would you even begin to quantify stuff like that for a piece of art, right? And so it just gets increasingly more difficult to make these exchanges. But I think money is particularly evil because, at this point it is sort of an abstraction. Even gold and stuff like that, its hold that it has on us, this expectation of reciprocity. And the difference is that currency is convertible. It's convertible to literally anything you can think of. So therefore, people can't get enough of it just because we've agreed that something is valuable. And it doesn't really matter what it is at this point. We have what's called a fiat currency, where the value of currencies are literally, they used to be backed by physical assets like gold and silver, and that's a little better, right? But now they're just compared against other free floating currencies, right? And so again, that sort of power of convertibility to whatever you want. You can get a tailor, you can get a video game, you can get a chair just with pieces of paper. That's so powerful. But at the same time, like, think about what responsibilities that enjoins to the people engaged in that commerce, and think about how it affects others morally. And then you start to realize why it is that money is the root of all evil. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that perspective. People don't really talk about that much, at least not nowadays, the connection between political economy, society, and ethics. Alright, bye.